Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now, and Sundaram has actually launched Sundaram Flexi Cap Fund today, and we are joined by Sunil Subramaniam, who is the MD and CEO of Sundaram Mutual Fund, joining us on the show to talk more on that. And very good afternoon, very good morning to you, Mr. Subramaniam. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now. And firstly, let me talk about the NFO. Could you share with us what's the rationale for this NFO of Sundaram Flexi Cap Fund, and also what kind of time horizon can an investor expect in this one?
So I think the timing is actually very well positioned, because you see the markets are just coming off from a strong FII sell-off as interest rate hikes started in the US and inflation fears dominated. But as you can see from the way the markets are behaving, the interest rate hikes are actually going to trigger a slowdown in the US economy, and hence you will see that the liquidity tap will probably remain open for some more time, and a probable recession in the advanced economies is good news from the perspective that oil prices, which are a key factor for FI investments into India, should be easing over the period of the next few months. Hence, FI flows have started coming back into the market after the recent sell-off. At the same time, domestic flows remain strong, the SIP book remains strong, so there is going to be buying support for the market. At the same time, while we are talking about a recession in the advanced economies, the Indian economy data, the print, whether it's GST collections, corporate income tax, personal income tax, rural demand recovering. So the news on the Indian economy is growing better and better, with PMIs printing above 50. So from a perspective of investing for the future, the right time to invest in equities is now. And within equities, as you know, large caps tend to have the support of FIs returning, but mid and small caps tend to beat expectations of earnings as the domestic economy grows. To have a right blend of large, mid and small caps is absolutely the right way to go. And from a timing perspective, we believe that our Flexi Cap Fund, which has the flexibility to use large caps, mid and small caps as per the earnings growth, as per the relative P ratios, and optimize opportunities for the investors to take full advantage of the equity capital markets. So we believe that from a tactical standpoint, it's well positioned at this point in time. Strategically, for our company, this is a key gap, because this is the largest segment of the industry is a flexi cap, both in terms of flows and AUM, and has been left as a gap by us after the principal merger. We left this as a spot so that at the right time we could launch what we will see as in the future the largest and probably the flagship fund for our fund house.
Absolutely. Mr. Subramaniam, this is Vinny joining in as well. You know, like you mentioned, this strategy for the fund is going to be large cap, mid cap and small cap. So in terms of that, any specific sectors or stocks that you will especially be looking at, especially in the mid and small cap? Like you mentioned that, you know, they will beat the earnings coming in the domestic front. So what are you looking at in those sectors then?
So from a mid and small cap, our primary focus would be on the discretionary consumption and the capital goods sectors. I think, and the overall capital goods would encompass building materials, cement, steel, EPC contractors. So that's one thing which is heavily dominated by the mid and small cap space. And within consumption also, the large cap tends to have more FMCG type companies, but discretionary companies are mostly mid and small cap. These would be the two primary engines of growth in our fund. Over and above this, we believe that the banking and financial services space is poised to benefit both from the investment side and the consumption side story that is developing in India.
Let me ask you the question on the other new NFOs. Have you all planned any new NFOs for FY23? We have the new NFO that you've launched today, the Sundaram Flexi Cap Fund. Any other in pipeline, Mr. Subramaniam?
Not yet. We would like to focus on this. See, our primary purpose behind the NFO is to make sure that we offer a complete equity solution to our investor base and to potential investors. I think with this NFO, we'll be achieving a major portion of that. Future NFOs we would evaluate based on evolving market situation. As things stand, this remains the big NFO for this year from our side.
Subramaniam, one more thing is that, you know, you have, when I'm reading the presentation, it does mention that, you know, new age economy stocks is also what you're looking at. You know, obviously we have seen a lot of volatility coming in these ones. Then how will you be looking at these ones? Which ones will you be looking at, especially any specific sectors here?
So, see, the new age economy is essentially, I would say, the coming of age of the services sector. If you know, the services sector overall in the economy has about 54-55% share of the GDP, but it has only a close to 40% share of the stock market capitalization. So we see that the journey of filling out this space between 40 and 54 is what's going to drive. And it's the new age companies which are hitherto were in the informal sector, or they were in an unorganized labor kind of a sector, are now gradually moving to organized sector, and hence the capital market would see a larger and larger representation of this. And you know, the digitalization, the formalization story of the economy is evident in the GST collections. As you see more formalization, see GST collections are rising. So we believe that this new age are one where the price discovery, the mechanism and all of that will be discovered over the few years. And here's where solid research backed by an understanding of the forces that drive economic growth would help in terms of early bird picking these kind of stocks, and wealth creation would be obviously higher on these fronts. There will be a lot of IPOs which come in which will get overpriced. There will be corrections later. So it's not necessarily that every new age company has to be bought at an IPO stage. We will evaluate the progress during the stock market listing and afterwards, and take specific calls based on their valuation and the growth potential. So we could end up buying a lot of these IPOs in a post-IPO space also.
Right, Mr. Subramaniam, we leave it there then. Thank you so much for joining us on the show to talk more about the new NFO that Sundaram Mutual has launched today. And like you said, the timing is pretty apt for this new launch. That was Mr. Sunil Subramaniam, who's the MD and CEO of Sundaram Mutual Fund, talking about Sundaram Flexi Cap Fund.